the death of the proprietary interest graph. The FTC just ended the era of the closed-loop algorithm by mandating that social platforms must export your behavioral weights to any competitor you choose. This isn't a simple request for a list of your friends or photos. The mandate forces companies to hand over the exact mathematical representation of your attention span, essentially giving rivals the secret sauce that keeps users scrolling for hours. While the press releases talk about user agency, the reality is a direct assault on the data moats that Meta and ByteDance have spent a decade building. The malicious compliance strategy. Don't expect these platforms to make the transition easy for the competition. Early filings from the major players show they are fulfilling the portability requirement by exporting data in hyper-specific, unstandardized vector formats. Think of it like receiving a map where the coordinates are written in a dead language that only the original cartographer speaks. This creates a massive compute tax for any startup trying to ingest that data, turning a supposed regulatory win into a technical bottleneck that keeps users locked exactly where they are. The incumbents aren't fighting the law. They're engineering it into irrelevance. The part no one wants to say. Algorithmic portability is a piece of regulatory theater that ignores the fundamental reality of the compute scale moat. Even if a startup successfully ingests an exported interest graph from 2026, they lack the multi-billion-dollar GPU clusters required to iterate on that data in real time. Meta and Google aren't terrified of losing users because of this mandate. They are using the compliance costs to justify further capital expenditure that smaller rivals simply cannot match. This regulation effectively formalizes the dominance of the giants by proving that the raw data is functionally useless without the massive infrastructure required to activate it. The signal under the noise is that portability without a mandate on compute access is a hollow victory for the consumer. Watch the Q3 earnings calls for a spike in infrastructure spending disguised as regulatory compliance costs. The real battle isn't over who owns the data, but who has the hardware to make that data profitable. Subscribe for more.